Please do.
Close it, go like the 10-minute mark, I'll close the door. And I'll
Okay.
Oh, but thank you for the invite.
It is odd to be the only
I
person
don't
having
know.
this.
Yeah.
Normally it's Jen, you keep your company.
Want to be like.
To exclude you.
Normally it's Jen and you hang.
Okay, so no public input. We will move on to approval of the April 2025 minutes. Those are in your packet.
I have one. I think it's way too many years and twice. Well, either has an A or a no A, but one place it has no A and one place it has an A.
Oh, yeah, I see it. That's an extra A.
I kind of like the extra A.
Where's this at?
Right here.
It's under the
Under
minutes of
Rowan.
budget.
I do roll around.
It feels
There is
good.
no A in my name, but yeah, it does. Woodland character or something.
Any other edits to the minutes?
Thank you for catching it. It's my name and I didn't catch it.
Probably why you didn't catch it.
Yeah, no, I totally didn't.
I move approval of the slightly revised. May 20. Yeah.
May 2025, April, sorry.
April
20.
2025 minutes.
Second.
April 24th.
Second, okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Motion carries. Okay, library spending review for the month of May. What do you got for us, Don?
Right on track.
Love that.
That's where we are at. So we're a little low on personnel costs as per usual. Because there's always vacancies that carry throughout the year, but not too low. And then for a little high on materials and services spending, some of that is just evens out a little bit over the year. Some of that is the digital materials that we've talked about and the costs associated with that. But overall, I don't have any concerns about it. I think we'll land right where we need to be. And then capital outlay, we've spent most of that. There's 90,000 left over. I suspect that we will not get too much, if any, of that 90,000. A lot of that is going to be related to computers, and then also the van that we have. There's some outfitting we want to do for it, and we will have to figure that out going into next year, most likely, just because we're running out of time in this fiscal year. So. In terms of like materials, we're in a good place there, and library programs, we're a little underspent. I think we'll remain underspent through this year, and Joe and I are just kind of talking through like how do we spread that budget out throughout the year while accounting for summer reading. I think everyone is always nervous about overspending because of summer reading being such a chunk at the beginning and the end. But we would like to have some programs that are going throughout. So, yeah.
Any questions for Dawn on the spending review? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve. the
Thank
financial
you.
report.
JB, you want a second? Excellent. All in favor? Okay, great, motion carries. Okay, moving on to the director's report.
So I was putting this director's report together, and there had just not been very much time between our last meeting and when I started to put this report together. So it feels a little empty to me. So, but definitely things were happening. We were sad to say goodbye to Library Assistant 2 Madison Gray out at Manzanita. We lost both of our Manzanita library staff in the past couple months, and they're both fantastic. And they both had family situations that they're tending to that took precedence, understandably. And so now we've got Tara, who started out there, who I think has been doing a pretty good job so far from all reports that I've received. And then we have a recruitment. We should be hopefully interviewing at the beginning of next month. And then hopefully by mid or end of the month, we will have someone in place there. I will say the recruitment is closed now, and the selection of people was fantastic. I feel very optimistic about the recruitment and the folks we had. I think it'll probably be a really tough decision when we get there. So
Good problem to have.
I was gonna
It's
say
a
those
good-
exact words.
it's a good problem to have. I mean, we had people who were local and had library experience, which, you know, that's pretty great
Mhm.
for us. So. Programs and outreach, the library consortium that we're part of, hosted a Koha community training at Oregon Coast Community College. And so Danielle and Courtney and Will and I attended that and learned more about Koha and Aspen, and just got to ask some questions and connect with Bywater Solutions, who is the company that hosts our integrated library system and provides services to us. One of the things that I'm really excited about coming out of that, that was a takeaway, is there's a community engagement module within Koha that we can potentially use for many different things. But one of the things that they've been using it more and more for in different libraries is for summer reading. And so we are hoping that that might be, not this year, but in years future, a good solution for us for the software end of what we use to track summer reading. And because the current system we use is less than ideal, we don't use it to its full capability, and we don't want to. And then as a tracking system, it's not great. So we're excited about the potential for that. We've been talking about potentially doing a winter break game this year to just put it through its paces and see how that module works before, committing to a summer reading, which is a much more complicated system. So that was exciting. The park paver project is largely complete, and now the library and foundation are exploring options for the water fountain. There's work that needs to happen around that, but Kevin Schluka is the artist who is going to be designing the water feature. And you can see in the board packet a representation of the type of fountain we will have out there. It's a solid column. I think it'll be really quite nice. So, but a lot to. I think it'll be pretty good comparatively, just because it's going to be a little lower in profile too. So that'll be helpful.
No, this photo looks very appealing.
Yeah, Luke has the enviable task of figuring out the water situation for that to operate well. So, yeah.
Starts.
Yeah, so I don't know, timeline, we're not quite there yet for that, but eventually we will have another water feature in there. That'll be really nice. Yeah. Tillamook Estuaries Partnership has an installation this month in the main gallery space, and focusing on habitat restoration. There's a photo in here so you can see it, but you're also welcome, of course, to go and view it today. And so that's an ongoing use of that temporary gallery space. We're just trying to kind of continue to move that forward as we plan around the teen space and plan around the college and career center. What's not included in here is we just got a bid for a design firm that will be willing to work with us on the teen center. It looks really promising. They're willing to work with us. They're a younger firm out of the Valley, and excited to work with youth as well. So that's great. So we're doing our due diligence with that proposal right now, and need to work with the foundation board, since that'll be foundation money that pays for that. But I think we're really excited just to have a firm on board. I know early on, Luke was looking at me like, well, how is this gonna happen? I was like, there's gonna be a firm that we work with. He's like, yes. So it's exciting to know that we have that prospect out there. And I think once we have a little more detail on that, we'll definitely come back and share some of what that is gonna look like with the board. So. A main display of the Coast Guard water safety display, which you can see in the hallway, is there. The Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition had a display up this month in the front lobby. And then this really cool oldest circulating library books display upstairs. Our library assistant too, Brittany, has been doing just a fantastic job with that display and coming up with creative things.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
She did the yearbooks display there before, oldest circulating books. She's coming up with great ideas for how to kind of display different aspects of the collection up there. So that's been fun. And then some programs that are coming up in June. We have an author coming to Tillamook Main Library Branch, Kirkpatrick. And so that'll be Friday, June 13th. We have Mo Phillips coming for summer reading on June 12th to the South County Library. We have Oregon's Civil Rights Years, A Journey Towards Justice with Oregon Black Pioneers, put on by the Oregon Black Pioneers. And every time I've seen a presentation by that organization, they do a really fantastic job of just kind of sharing about the history. And so that's been fantastic. And that'll be June 10th. And then Ms. Pearl's Circus Palooza is a repeat favorite for summer reading. And that'll be June 12th here at the main library branch. Obviously, this is just the tip of the iceberg for summer reading. You're going to hear a little bit more about that today. But some programs that we're excited about in the not too distant future.
I'd really recommend that people that can't attend Jane Kirkpatrick's reading. She's lives in Bend, Redmond area.
Okay.
So she's local. She was former mental health director.
Oh.
So she brings a really interesting perspective, and she does a lot of really interesting research on kind of unsung stories, women, pioneers who
Oh, that's
did something. This may be the book she's been working on about the woman that delivered the mail route
Oh,
from Cannon Beach south.
I think
and then
that's
up
right.
The valley a ways. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, and that woman was really fascinating, and she would have to ride her horse around Hug Point and catch the tides just right. One night she got stuck.
Oh,
partway
wow.
Through, so
Wow.
it should be, I haven't read the book, but the Nehalem Valley Historical Society did a video on the woman herself. So,
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so and Jane's a good speaker, so.
That's great. And now that you're mentioning that, it's coming back to me. She was talking about being excited because of the Cannon Beach connection and whatnot. So, yeah.
So if you can make it, it would be probably informative and fun.
Then, you want me to just jump into the
Sure,
data as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
do it.
so we have data this month, so that is a big improvement. We're still working through some things, but mostly we have the data available to us now, and we've got the reports figured out that we need to have. We saw 10,000 visitors in this past month of April, and then had 111 new cards. And you can see we've added wireless sessions, computer usage, print jobs as pieces in here, general reference assistance. So those are some additional things that we're going to just be tracking from here on out within the report.
I have a question about.
Yeah.
So is that by page, or is that by someone come in with a request for 30 pages and somebody come in request for one, it counts as two?
Yep,
Okay,
yep, yeah.
That's kinda what I thought,
Number of
but-
print jobs. We do a lot of print.
Yeah, you do.
I said, I gathered that. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Absolutely. It's probably one of the top services I would say we have.
That's a lot of reams of paper for.
Yeah, and and of course it varies, like some jobs, people are just self-help, they just go up there, they use the print system, they're very adept at it, and other things, you're spending a lot of time trying to get just the right photo and just the right size, and relearning the copier in my case all over again. And so, yeah, each job's a little bit different, but definitely one of the most well-used, and with the foundation having provided copiers and scanners throughout the entire county, it's available everywhere, which is fantastic. Checkouts, 11,779. We're seeing just a little bit of a dip in the checkout numbers this month, this past month, along with renewals. So we'll be kind of just tracking that. I don't know if that's a difference in kind of what we've been tracking through the new system and the old system, but we'll be curious to see if that is a trend or just a 1 month issue. But electronic circulation continues to be on an upward trajectory, not double digits any longer. So that part is good. We do anticipate with the new Aspen system that people can see the virtual selection a little bit better. So we may see some continuing bump up from that, but again, to be determined. Holds, 35, 37 have also been, those have been on a little bit of a downward trend over the past couple of months. And so I'm not quite sure what's happening with that number. But it's when I'm watching, if it's just that people are able to find what they're looking for when they're here, or just a difference in the way people are using materials. But we'll continue to talk about that. Beyond that, the only other things I would just say, it seems like we've had a big jump in use of study rooms lately, so that's been good. And are continuing on strong with programming and with notary help. And so all that's looking pretty good for us right now. To answer any, and then on the second page, second page, we have the breakdown of electronic materials. You can see both the April checkouts and then year over year change. Comment Plus is new, so there's no change there. Canopy down 24%, but it was pretty high previously. And so that one just jumps around, I think, quite a bit. But Hoopla and Overdrive continuing to go strong. Hoopla is seeing a pretty decent size increase. That's the one I'm watching with regard to Aspen and being able to see and use the digital materials a little bit better. So if we have a 14% increase through the rest of this year, that will be financially challenging for us, but we'll just have to see. And then Canopy, or not Canopy, but Flipster is on there. We have 64 checkouts there. And so I've been talking with Danielle quite a bit about the kind of cost per use of that, and we're exploring some options. So hopefully in the coming months, I may have some interesting new news to share around magazine access and not spending quite so much for quite so little.
Flipster's magazine.
Yeah, it's magazines, and so it's separate. You have to go and use it separately. It's not always intuitive. It's not the most customer friendly service that we have in terms of the interface. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Don,
Yeah.
can I ask, you said that the Hoopla usage was growing and you were keeping an eye on it and there was a potential to bust the budget. I'm just curious, what happens if we bust the budget? I mean, we have cushions in other parts of the budget, so it's not like the library doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
But what would you, so do we just borrow from a different pot of money in our own budget and not worry about it? How do we think about next year? What are some of the possibilities for a plan?
Yeah, so I think we're seeing an increase in digital materials each year in terms of the costs. And so we are typically going over in our costs for digital materials. I expect that to really be generally true going into this next year. But you know, it's not a question of that so much because it's a growing service as how much of that. And if we're seeing a really big wave, like 14% like across a year would be a really big wave for us. Then I think we need to have conversations about how we manage those costs. I think, you know, the great thing about Hoopla is that you have instant access. You can get to the materials you want, and that's really the way people expect to interface with digital materials, based on their experiences elsewhere. The downside of that is that, right, we don't have the types of controls on those costs that we would with another model of charging, such as where you're paying like a flat rate. So we do have some tools in the toolbox to deal with that over time. We could start to limit the number of checkouts that people have available.
Okay,
We could limit some of the access to different types of materials and whatnot. Again, I kind of want to see how it shakes out on more than just this
Yeah,
April
of
month
course.
before we start to, but I do think we maybe, if this is a trend, we
we
will
have
be
tools. We have tools
We
that
do.
we can employ if this trend keeps going in the direction it's going.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully sufficient tools, but that would be, to be seen.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add, in one of the great things is, Danielle's been fantastic for us. She's already begun negotiating costs on a number of the digital services we've had and has been successful in lowering costs for some of those services. So that's been really great. And her being able to be proactive is really important for us. So before that, it would have been me that would have been trying to do that. I would have never really gotten to it. It's enough for me to remember to actually approve the expenditure with those companies, much less actually get into a further conversation with them. So having her able to talk with those vendors, negotiate with them, and talk about the challenges we have and how they can help us out is beneficial for us. And it's beneficial for those companies too, because they don't want us to just, cut bait and not use their services either. So that's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Some of these database usages, what are they?
They are the sessions, so it's the number of times that they're accessed during the month. And it's a change. It's why you don't see a year-over-year change, because we wanted to make sure that we were looking at everything the same way. So for this year, you're seeing a lot of the first time that we're really looking at these sessions. I think going into July and August, we'll start to have the year-to-year comparisons. And so you can see some things not very well used, ethnic diversity source and green file. I think those aren't necessarily things that people are going to use until they really need them for a project. I just don't think they get a lot of use here. And then you go on up to things that have a little more interest, including Value Line, which is investing tool, and then Newsbank, which is the Oregonian access, and then New York Times, which is actually down a little bit here to 63, but has been very popular for us. So,
Gale version.
Gale Virtual Ref is one of our databases through the Gale services, and so it's a lot of things, I guess is the way I would put it. There's access to a variety of things, including just magazines, including different ebooks and whatnot. It tends to skew towards educational. And so, but we certainly, if there's ever a time you want to get in depth on any of these resources, we could certainly talk about them in depth here as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one's pretty good, and it gets a decent amount of usage. The ones that we're watching, Mango is one that we're watching, like that's not a great number for us in terms of the usage for that type of resource, because it's a little more expensive. That is one of the ones that Danielle has negotiated down the cost on. Just looking at the usage that we have.
And what is Mango?
Mango is the language app, so it uses it similar to you know.
Like Duolingo
Like
type thing?
Duolingo or Babbel's the other one that is often used in libraries. And there's a number of resources that are out there now. So we are looking at that over time and trying to figure out what's the best option for people to use. You know, and it's good usage in general within the context of the databases, but you know, it's looking at that cost per usage. And so that's something that Danielle's been putting together lately, is just like, how is the usage, how does it compare to the cost that we're paying? So that we can start to evaluate these things and put money towards things people are using. And
That makes sense.
yeah.
And what is one more? What is,
Yeah.
what is Novelist Plus?
Novelist is one of my favorites. And Novelist is one of the ones you might be interacting with without even knowing about it. So Novelist is a service that talks about books, and it has a ton of information about authors. You can find read-alikes in there, you can find groupings. So when we're doing readers advisory upstairs, advising people on the types of books they want, then using Novelist is one of the better tools for that, I find. And so it's a great place for if someone's like, oh, I love this person, I don't know what I want to read next. And you know, you can print them up a list of like, here are the recommended people, here's why they're making these recommendations.
And their actual lists, this isn't an AI generated list of big books.
It is an actual list, and
So great.
to my knowledge so far, not AI generated, though, who knows, over time. And you can, so you have that set up in there, and then it's also integrated into Aspen for us. So you are seeing it on there in terms of book recommendations. You are seeing it in there in terms of information about the books that are in there available. So
That's great.
so this usage is probably a little deceiving in that way, that because the way people are interacting is not going to be reflected in a session sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
But yeah, any other questions I'm glad to ask or answer about the report or the data?
Any more questions for Don? Great, thank you for that. Always informative and fun to learn about the library. We will move on then to our update, starting with the foundation. I know you mentioned a little bit in your director's report. Anything else?
The only other thing I would say is, you know, as we're getting ready for summer reading, you'll hear a little bit more about this, but they've done a fantastic job of supporting summer reading this year and getting a lot of different businesses and organizations involved in the summer reading game and prizes. So we're really thankful for that.
Awesome. Yeah. Commissioner Bell, do you have an update for us?
I want to congratulate Don for winning your race for the Neat County School Board, and thank you for signing up for that service. It's so important, and you will just be a tremendous asset to that board.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to learning more about the schools, and I'm very thankful that without an opponent, I was not defeated. So.
Yeah.
Don't minimize it.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is you're right. I appreciate what Romy just said. Don't minimize it, because there's a feeling, even if you don't have to campaign really hard, the feeling of being exposed, you know, is it's significant, and it takes real courage. And I know you're a very busy man, so I'm grateful that you're willing to step up and take that on.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and I had a number of community members who were working with me, and if we had had to run an even more intensive race, we were ready for it. And I was thankful for that support as well. And yeah, but again, I'm really excited to, you know, there's nothing more fun than sort of learning about something that you kind of have a good amount of knowledge, but not in-depth knowledge. And as I'm sure you know as board members. And so I'm looking forward to that.
That's great.
I think you'll bring a really good skill set to challenges that you be experiencing beyond the fiscal challenges.
Yeah.
I was really excited that you were doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great board. I'm looking forward to working with them.
It's been a strong and good district. District or even.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by what they're able to accomplish.
And we don't have the final results for the election yet, but there are a couple of really close races that it'll be interesting to see. We'll get some results today by 5, I think, and some things could change, but not an uncontested race. But yeah, altogether, it's, I think a lot of people have expressed to me that they're just relieved that it's over.
Mhm.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Bell. All right, we'll move on then to old business. We have our community survey.
It's being tabulated.
Oh, love that.
A lot of lessons learned this time around, doing it with another company and just trying to, figure out the process for it. I think there'll be some good lessons learned going to next time, but we got a few more paper surveys that have come in sort of after we were expecting them, but that were taken during the period of time when they need to be. So we're getting those involved, and I'm hoping by next meeting, I have a thorough report from the Center for Public Service folks that are working on this from Portland State University. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what the results are.
Awesome. Will we be looking at that next month, do you think?
That is my hope. I haven't gotten a timeline from them yet in terms of when we'll get it, but I can't imagine that we wouldn't have it by next month.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions on that? All right, collection development policy.
I think that has gone well, and then maybe I'll just turn it over to Luke to talk about that since he's the one coordinating that.
Working on that, yeah. No, we had a meeting with some board members. Courtney, myself, and Jen Wells have been we kind of did just kind of an environmental scan of what other libraries had for their collection development policies. We identified the key pieces that we feel we need. We went out and pulled text that we liked and language from other libraries' policies. We met with the board members to kind of talk through some of the issues and kind of what we're hoping to accomplish with our collection development policy. And now we have it broken up into 6 sections that we're going to try to tackle in 2-week increments, and then hopefully have a rough draft that we can go kind of workshop with our board members at another meeting, and then deliver that to Dawn to hopefully present here. Probably not at the next meeting, but then the following one looks like what we're land on. So yeah, I think it went well. It's been positive working with board and with my colleagues, and we're off to a good start.
It's very educational.
It was very educational. There's a lot that goes into a collection development
Yeah.
policy, and
I had no idea.
I know, and I had to leave that meeting early, which I was bummed about, but I was so impressed with the just like presentation and what you guys had found that you liked, and the conversation, and it felt like everyone was really prepared and interested, and I thought it was a good discussion. And I always enjoy I love spending time with Dawn, but I always also enjoy like getting to hear from other staff and, what they do and their perspective on things. And I don't know how helpful we were, but
They'd already done so much work.
you'd already done so much work that it was really, I just appreciated it.
When was that next meeting?
We haven't set one yet.
Oh,
No,
good.
we're hoping to have our draft copy together. No,
I started
you
panicking. I
missed
was
out
like,
on it.
oh, there's like a bunch of meetings swirling, and I was like, I think I missed that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that it will be, I think once, it kind of makes it through all of the meetings and Dawn's review and the board looks at it, and, we have edits, that we're gonna have a really strong foundation to stand on for how we collect materials and what we provide to the community, so.
And how we respond to community
And how we
input,
respond to community input, yeah.
what some policies in place to.
And for me, this has been a major I don't know, milestone, I guess, for where having Luke and Jen on board and having worked for quite a while, to be able to hand this off to both of them and have full confidence people were filing into the meeting room and I was like, oh, that's happening. And I don't know what's happening and I won't know for a little while, but I feel really good about everyone working on it. And so that's huge for us as an organization because we need to have that kind of, if we're going to be really effective, we need to have everyone able to work on the types of things that we're moving forward with. So that's just a nod of the hat to both Luke and Jen and Courtney.
It was
for-
really well organized.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. It was organized and it was informative and we all learned something and it was great. Yeah, it's very exciting. And I think that it's such an important piece and we've kind of been limping along for a while. And I know that there was, you kind of helped us patch up some holes. But now sort of taking this time to really go in depth with it will serve us into the future in a way that is going to be important. So.
Yeah, it's great.
So I'm very excited about that. Okay, all right, enough about that. Local history reference collection.
It's largely just still on here, but for us to touch base on, but nothing major has happened with that. I saw Angela at that same event with Ada Lamone and we said hi, but we didn't talk about the local history collection. So I'm assuming I'll have more updates about that in the coming months.
All right, we will move on then to new business.
Summer reading, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm sorry for those of you who are not here to see the paper copies of this, but if you want to send these around, we have the game boards for all of the summer reading. But I also have a presentation that I'm going to load up here for everyone.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's interesting.
This is 11 to 14.
All right, can everyone online see the presentation?
Yes.
So we put a bunch of work into revamping summer reading this year. And as we've talked about in past meetings, this has been this is a major event for us every summer. It is big in terms of how we connect with all of our users, but especially with youth in the summer. And it is also been something that has largely fallen on the shoulders of one or two staff people in terms of the planning for it, which is a lot to ask of anyone. So we have been working towards building a team around summer reading and making sure that more people are involved. This year in the planning process, we really talked about streamlining, but also making the program as accessible as possible. So this is what I'm going to be presenting to you is the reflection of a large number of staff members' work. The theme this year is level up. So it's focused on play and games and how that can interact with summer learning. And we have games this year, we have prizes, programs, and a couple of crafts that are going to be available to engage families and children and adults all throughout the summer. We've got a number of objectives. I'm going to minimize this on our end. There we go. We have a number of objectives for this year. One is to welcome families into the library and share what the library has to offer. This is just a way for people to really get engaged with the library and understand what all the things that the library can provide to them. We want to support summer learning through reading, games, and programs. We all know that in the period of time between when kids get out of school, they go back to school, depending on their life situation, oftentimes they lose a lot of the ground they gained during the course of that summer. So if we can be some small part of keeping kids engaged in learning and reading in particular, then that's something we want to make sure that we're doing throughout the summer. And then creating a fun space for community members to engage with learning and resources. So part of the goal of this is to create joy and fun within the community during a time of the year where a lot is going on, but also that there's, you know, especially in families, there are kids that are out of school, they're looking for things to do and looking for things to do with their family. For the planning, I mentioned already, we got together a group of people to work on this for this year. The library had the goal of streamlining it, but also making sure it was really accessible to people. So we really thought about like, who are the folks that are gonna have the hardest time participating? What are the things we can do to make this a game that they can engage with, that they can take part in? So some of the changes that are happening this year, we have an easy sign up for it. We have outreach that we are doing to make sure that people can sign up. We're getting it in their hand and hoping that they come back in. We're trying to gather those up and get them entered into the system before the game even begins. We have materials in English and Spanish. Joe, our programming librarian, Joe Salzman, did a fantastic job of really making sure that we were hitting the deadlines of getting the Spanish translations together. And so you can see on the game boards that you have in front of you, we have everything translated and ready to go. So we're excited for that. We have fewer crafts this year. You may hear about this year. It may not be popular this year, that we have fewer crafts. There are some people, a small number of people that really love the crafts. And the amount of time that we were spending on it was detrimental to the program. We were not able to complete all the crafts that we would start. And it was a major stressor for staff, so that by the time we even started summer reading, oftentimes our staff were exhausted and kind of didn't want to hear the term summer reading. And what we really want is for people to be really selling it to everyone coming in and getting them excited about it. So that was really important for us. We do have a few crafts designed, and we're continuing to try and figure out how do we do that in a way that is sustainable for us and engaging for families. There's no Prize-a-Palooza this year. That is an event that was happening primarily here at Maine, where people would come and they would get prizes. We're trying to just extend the window in which you can get the prizes. So all throughout August, if you come in, you're going to be able to get the prizes that you've earned. It's not like a hard cutoff date of when the fair starts. And so we're hoping that will kind of minimize the need for that. It wasn't really broadly accessible to everyone in the county anyway, so this will hopefully just make it so that you can go to the nearest location.
I was just about to ask that actually, will there be a cache of prizes at each branch so that people, okay, that
Yep,
feels so
yes.
much more equitable.
Yeah, so you can get prizes anywhere you want to go, and again, we're going to have it through August. So I think that was some of the thing we would run into before is like the game would stop and you couldn't get the prizes any longer, and then we would negotiate. And it's like, we don't need to do that. We just want you to celebrate reading. Summer reading party for all participants, rumored to be happening at the local theater here in Tillamook. And so that we typically had a summer reading party that was here, and that was for people who completed the game. We wanted it to be participant based. So like if you participate in the game, whether you complete it or not, we want you to feel like you are welcome and you're part of the whole summer reading. So it'll be geared around that.
Great.
A lot of details to be determined. We really just started talking about the particulars of that. So, and then we had more community prizes this year. As mentioned before, the Tillamook County Library Foundation Board really went out and gathered a ton of prizes this year, and I'm really excited about just the amount of community prizes that are available. They'll be spread throughout the county. We're trying to be mindful of geographic location of the prizes and where we put them. And so we'll start to send those out in the coming weeks, but it should be pretty exciting. Key dates that are coming up include the Staff and Service Day, June 5th, where we will be working through summer reading preparation, just getting everyone on board, getting them really excited, and talking through the process so they feel confident the next week when summer reading starts. People can be signing up and getting registered all throughout that. And then we'll have the first prizes available June 16th. We have a little delay there just to try and make sure that we don't have people just like first day I've completed it all. You get some go-getters out there. So that will be good. We will have the final day of summer reading, August 2nd for the game, but again, throughout the rest of August, you can bring in and get prizes. We have the summer reading celebration to be determined, Tillamook Coliseum.
But sometime in August, yeah.
Sometime in August,
And
yeah.
he sent me some dates.
Okay,
that work,
yeah,
And I just have to look at another event I'm also hosting in August and I will.
yeah.
make all that work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so
thanks.
much.
Yeah, really
It's gonna be really fun. Community, so speaking of which, community partners, this is a big part of what we're doing. You will start to see these posters going up all around the county, level up summer reading at your library. Talks about signing up for summer reading, and you can see there's a large number of organizations and businesses that have supported summer reading this year. So we're excited. We got pizza, we got ice cream, we got movies, we got pet stores, we got just a bevy of different places where people can get prizes, kids can get prizes in particular. So we're really excited for that, and I hope it adds to the excitement of the game. We'll of course continue to have books as one of the primary prizes that we get out to kids, and then we also have our treasure trove prizes, just to round out the prize category. So those are usually little trinkets that kids love, slinkies and whatnot. The summer reading sign up you can see is here. It's pretty simple. It's meant to be just to get them signed up, get them ready and participating. The staff are really obsessed with the dragon design with the book board. It's iReads, right? Or is that, yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, so it's a iReads design, but they love it. So this will be the main sheet that people sign up, and then they bring it in. We get them registered on Beanstack on our side, which is how we note who is signed up as well as who has completed the game. And then they get a board and they're ready to go.
Somehow, I did not know that adults participate in summer reading.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many do?
What, about 100?
Wow.
Yeah, so Luke runs the adult version, so, it's something that people have participated. We changed it up a little bit this year, as you'll see, but it's a fun one.
That's great.
Kids board, you've seen, it has a number of hexagons. You do the activities that are listed on the back of the sheet, and then you take one of the stickers you've got, put the sticker in there. You get 3 stickers, you come in, you win a prize based on the color of the hexagon that you filled out. And then we initial it, we stamp it, actually, I think is what we ended up deciding on. And then you move on to the next hexagon, and you can win. After you've done 5 of these, you've completed the game. You get your summer reading t-shirt, but you also can continue to participate and do 5 more and win up to 5 more prizes after that. So
Does the t-shirt have the dragon on it?
the t-shirt does, I believe, have the dragon on
Nice.
it. Yeah. So
Be worth signing up for.
and so, and unfortunately, I don't have a shirt here to share with you yet. I believe Scoville Inc. is working on it in North County, and can't wait to see the finished version.
Yeah.
But this, you finish those 5, you've completed, and then the idea is you can level up with the next 5, so along with the theme. if you are a teen, this is your teen board that you're gonna have, and it is, go back, and it has that dragon, of course, and then a bunch of hexagons you can fill out. You'll have stickers for that, and once you have completed it, you will be entered in to win a grand prize. So there's intermediary prize, which is a book, and then you get to the completion and you get a grand prize. It'll be one of 3 areas of prize. There are 3 different themes within the teen game. They include, I'm gonna see if I get these all right. Be ready to jump in. The Bard, yes. The Adventurer, no, okay. Go ahead, just.
What was the Smith?
The Smith.
Yeah. And then now that you said adventure, I can't think.
Ranger,
Ranger,
Ranger's the adventurer. Yeah, sorry. As soon as I said adventure, it threw us off. So those are the 3 types of activities you can engage in, and they're activities specific to those kind of sort of gaming archetype themes.
Oh.
And
I
so,
understand the need.
And you got a comment in the chat.
and we got a comment in the chat. I don't know. If whoever has the comment, if they're able to speak, that would be easier than finding the chat. So I will check the chat at the very end. And then we have the adult game. And so the adult game is geared this year around themes as well. There are kind of 6 themes, and the idea is really about trying to explore the different things the library has to offer. So you can read, of course, but then you can also bring a friend with you to the library. You can check out an item from the Library of Things. Once you do a number of those, I believe 5 of them, right? Yes, then you will see what is, it's sort of like a, not a fortune cookie, but a
Magazine quiz.
magazine quiz. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where you can find out what type of library user you are. Are you in the Storytime squad? And that's typically you're just bringing your kids in and they're utilizing the library. Are you a tech trailblazer, community connector? And then you will be entered into a prize. We have 6 theme prizes that you can win that are gift certificates to bookstores, they're museum passes, they are a variety of things. The foundation is sponsoring those, so we're thankful to the foundation for doing that.
That's great.
And yeah, so this should be I'm looking forward. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. I think we're gonna have a lot of adult participation this year. So it oftentimes can feel like the adult game is just something we kind of throw in on the side. I'm excited to have something that's a little more robust this year.
Yeah, those are very thoughtful challenges. They look fun.
Yeah, someone did a really good job designing it and thinking about it, so.
Binge watch a TV season on DVD.
Yeah.
I mean, check out the
DVDs,
DVDs
check
from the
out the
library.
DVD from the
Yeah,
library.
yeah, yeah.
So when you have it all.
Oh.
that
Read a
one
magazine
box
from
set
the
of
library. Yep, so again, you know, we really wanted to highlight ways you can really use the library that you might not otherwise think about or
That's true.
so. Crafts, we have 2 main crafts this year. We have the graphic up here for the make your own coloring book for the kids. And for older kids, teens, we'll have a make your own zine. And so those are the 2 major crafts that we'll have this year, and people can engage with them throughout the year. Programs, so this is not everything. This is just what's happening at Maine. There is also a whole list of programs that are happening all throughout the county. So I did not have enough room to fit everything onto one slide and just wanted to give you a sampling of what's going on. A lot of these are repeated throughout the county in different areas. And so we will have summer reading movies at noon on Wednesdays. We will have a variety of programs throughout. A lot of these are ones that are really popular and happen every year. The one that I'm super excited about is the goat visit with which will be happening July 10th. And I think that's happening in a couple of different spots this year. So it won't just be Maine. And Border Collie International is always a really fun one. So we got a variety. We'll have a big program advertisement that is going out alongside our brochures this year. So be looking for that on social media and in paper form and at the locations as we get closer.
Are the Shakespeare folks coming back this year?
They are, yeah, August, I want to say August 30th and 31st. There'll be a Saturday and Sunday. It'll be more during the day and less at night because that was a little
Throw some
cold.
rear ends off.
Yeah.
But it was still fun.
Went from being concerned about being too hot to
Yeah.
way too cold, yeah, so we're trying to avoid that. But yeah, they, I want to say they've solidified, I want to say it's going to be As You Like It as one of them, and then I'm not going to say it out loud because if I say it, it'll be wrong, so look for advertisements for that soon as well, but it should be fantastic. Prizes, we've talked a little bit about that already with the game boards. You can see the a model of the gift certificate that the library designs. So some things we have from the businesses themselves, others are wanting us to make the gift certificates up for them. So we'll have this form of a gift certificate. Yeah, a lot of different ways to win. Ooh, that's fancy. And then we have summer lunch every year as part of the program that we have. And so we have additional location this year in Garibaldi that is being provided by Meals for Seniors and organized through Neocani School District, I believe. And the main branch has Monday through Friday free summer lunches throughout. And then the Bookmobile delivers free lunches to Glenhaven Apartments and Champion Apartments Wednesdays and Fridays. It's a good way, you know, as we know, there are a lot of kids that are dependent on lunches through the schools throughout the year, and in the summer that drops off. So we're one part of a countywide puzzle to make sure that kids have access to food during the summer. Thank you, and I'm glad to answer any questions you might have.
Done.
That's really cool.
Really excited this
And
year.
it's colorful and inviting and it just looks fun.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a blast, and you know, I feel like I just overheard a few staff talking about it the other day, just outside my office, and they were talking about how excited they were, which I thought was a real testament to the planning, because that is not often the
They were dreading hearing
thing
something.
that I hear. So I was glad to hear that.
Oh,
Okay, Jamie had to sign off, all right. Yeah, any other questions, anything for summer reading?
Great. I was wondering if you or somebody on your staff would like to come to the Board of Commissioners meeting and make this presentation next week so that the broader community has another chance to see it.
Would love to.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep, yeah, and I plan to take the presentation there and turn it into a mobile presentation that'll also be available through the website and through our social media channels. It won't be this exact same presentation, it'll be a little more like get everyone in the community excited about it.
Sure.
But yeah, would love to.
And do you have a regular spot on the Tillamook Today show?
I do, I should have one coming up for
Okay.
summer reading.
Okay. All right, great.
We schedule them out in advance for the year, and then at some point I'm like, oh, that's next week.
Okay. I just want to make sure you have a spot.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So,
That's terrific.
yeah, we're really excited. Again, it's I think gonna be a really big year for us, and
It feels
Work to
so fun.
revamp a program.
It is.
So thank you for that work.
It is, and but you know, it's been good because we've had so many different people involved and they've all been, you know, after I think some initial like, oh, we're revamping, got more excited about it, got more involved with it. And you know, I think the hard part are always the things that you aren't gonna do as much of. And I just tried to remind people as we went through that, like, part of it is like, let's get to a sustainable place and we can build from there.
Mhm.
And so,
I love that there's more people involved with it, because I do remember a time when it was just poor Melanie was
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
just slammed, and I felt so sorry for her, and
Yeah,
It's
by the
nice to
time
see
she gets
this
to
team.
July, she would just be exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
understandably,
yep.
it's really,
So-
you got a good team on it, and I think she's probably the happiest person about this.
Yeah, well, and hopefully, you know, hopefully kind of as the summer goes along, it frees her up to be just like, you know, there's a lot of kids coming in, they're
Yeah.
engaged, being able to connect with them a little bit easier and not be just having to constantly be on the run. So,
And shifting the energy to, you know, something fun and joyful that people, library staff are excited about providing, as opposed to the, like, sometimes previously the energy would just be, you know, that people were
Extra
overwhelmed.
work.
Get
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, and they designed some really cool crafts, like they did some really amazing stuff. It was really fun. And sometimes those didn't even make it out the door because we just ran out of energy and time. And so, you know, I think we'll continue to build on whatever we do this year, and you know, staff will bring the creativity to it all no matter what. They seem to always do that, and I appreciate it.
Very exciting.
Mhm.
It's gonna be fun. Good work, everybody.
Yeah, bravo.
All right, well, I think that is everything for today. So if there's no other items anyone wants to bring up, we will adjourn.
Great.
At
Thank you.
1:06.
Good to see you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay.
I was gonna stay behind and ask you something
Yeah.
after this.